Now, I was indeed disappointed with this book because I missed the whole point of what mentalism was, which is lying, basically. But hey, you can extract the deeper lessons from this book. And just by asking yourself, why? Why does the mentalist lie, and what are they lying about? And the answer to this came up when I noticed a certain word that the author kept bringing up, that the author kept mentioning in order to describe the goal of a trick, the goal of a magic trick or a mentalist trick. Now, the whole point of every trick, or the end goal of every trick, is to create an effect. And what exactly is an effect is never really defined, but everybody knows what it is. It's that sensation, that sense, it's that feeling that the world is not what you thought it was, or that mystifying sense that anything is possible, or that yearning that there are other worlds to be explored, or that there is too much to be discovered. And a mentalist, a magician's talent is to professionally produce this effect. And what does this do? Well, first of all, it's entertaining, just like any other art, but also like any other art, it inspires people. You inspire people to think about what it would be like to read minds, or how it could work. It inspires people to believe that it really is possible, or it reminds people that anything can indeed be possible. With mentalism, like magic, it is an important feature of presentation to convey the impression that it is not so much what you have done as what you could do if you had the time. And there is no better way to get people excited about the possibilities than to give them a realistic example of what it could do and how it could be done. Now, this is made more clear when the author points out that you can actually have somebody on stage perform an actual miracle, but if they place no meaning into it, the audience will just see it and they'll just think it's something weird that happened. But a good performer will be able to take even an everyday experience and inspire people with it, inspire the audience with it. There appears to be an insatiable urge to find new tricks, which is entertaining and interesting. And there is hardly any inclination to make these new tricks worth performing properly, which is not so interesting, although far more profitable. My honest advice, for what it's worth, is to spend less time searching for new effects and more time working on those you already have. So it's all about how you present the trick, not about knowing a million ways to make the trick happen. It's all about the presentation. This goes to show that the goal of the mentalist is not just to show some complex illusions and to trick people into believing that, he can do all these things. But his craft is in the narrative, in the story that he builds around the trick that he performs. Originality in presentation will always add to an effect. Method is unimportant compared with dramatic presentation. A superb trick poorly presented will not receive half the ovation that a weak trick will get if dressed up with showmanship. This is another method of revealing a chosen word. It is quite useless knowing 50 ways to force a word, unless you know some good ways to reveal that knowledge. Your aim should be to learn 50 ways to reveal a word and 1 way to force it. So the tricks can be simple tricks. They don't even matter as much as the narrative that the mentalist builds around it. This story, if you will, can be defined as his ministry or his message, and the tricks become only a tool to be able to convey this message to the world. Now, when I picked up this book, I was expecting to learn some skills that I would be able to use in everyday life, and that was disappointing. But actually, I did find a few skills that were actually true skills and not just skills that you pretend to have. Like in step 2, you learn pencil reading and muscle reading. In step 3, you learn mnemonics and things to improve your memory. In step 11, you learn cold reading. In step 12, you learn publicity stunts. It talks about publicity stunts. So if you have a business, it's always good to learn new ways to make publicity. And step 13 talks about showmanship. So if you're ever doing a presentation, public speaking, or performing in some sorts, it's just a good insight on showmanship, on to be able to convey yourself, to convey that message. So yeah, so there are actually skills in here that you'll be able to learn and use in everyday life.